We are in the middle of a hip-hop culture media war where Akademiks and Charlamagne have been taking shots at each other for weeks.
Under Rock Nation, Leonard McKelvey, a.k.a. it says known professionally as Charlemagne the God. They claim that Leonard McKelvey was a part of whatever Rock Nation was going to do.
I think he's affiliated with some people that he may not know everything that
they're up to.
Because there's lawsuits like that. There's lawsuits that actors got added to, right?
And now other big names in media are chiming in, like Funkmaster Flex, who shared his opinion on Charlamagne.
And you wanted to skip the line. And you thought, let me get next to Jay-Z. You rode his corn knob every chance you got, bro. Every chance you got.
But mainly really called out Jay-Z for turning his back on the community for money.
Jay-Z, like I said, 9 out of the 10 things I love about you, bro. The Colin Kaepernick thing was a real slice below the belt, and that wasn't for your people. And you try to make people believe it was for your people, and that's why you're getting the Target flack, Jay.
And with Akademiks and Charlamagne set to talk today, maybe we'll see a conclusion to all of this. But right now, it's just crazy.
You know, for the people who said Act may have, Act might be ducking smoke, or maybe Charlamagne ducking smoke. Neither of us ducking smoke.
But I'm Jew. Welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
We got to do the same thing for Charlamagne, man. You know, that boy put his time in this city, grinded very hard. He's also put on a lot of people. Changed the morning show landscape, because we're always just talking about people when we want to tear them down and we want to rip them down. We got to really sometimes just give it the way it is. What he has built for himself.
Him and Flex have always had problems, just going back to Hot 97 and Power 105, just competing companies or whatever. But they've never liked each other. They've all taken shots at each other before. And you know, if somebody that doesn't like you starts off talking this nice about you, and they're going to crash out eventually, and he does.
And for other people is amazing. Shout out to Wendy Williams. You know, he came out of that camp. He figured it out. He got fired. He went out of town. He came back. You know, sometimes we got to give our people our accolades. And once again, let's be clear, it's later on in his career that we're looking at this right now. But now we got to say he, see the guard was in there when Jay was saying we're past kneeling. You know, Jay-Z knew why the NFL was reaching out to him. All of us, I got shunned. I was called every name in the book for talking about Jay-Z with that particular situation.
Yep. So I will say, Hov is my GOAT, and probably my homies too. I think we all kind of got the same top 3 or whatever. But I do remember being really disappointed, or kind of like seeing a different side of Jay when he basically snaked Kaepernick. The whole kneeling thing was going on. The NFL was against Cap. Trump was talking about Cap. Everybody was talking about Cap.
Your San Francisco quarterback, I'm sure nobody ever heard of him. NFL owners don't want to pick him up because they don't want to get a nasty tweet from Donald Trump. Do you believe that?
And Jay-Z went behind the picket line, basically, and then he did the whole we're over kneeling thing.
I think we past kneeling.
That time period was so crazy. I remember Colin Kaepernick had the #1 selling jersey in the NFL at that point, because that's how much people were supporting him.
Once again, your accomplishments are great, my brother, but see the guard, you made your name off the street, and everybody that believes in you, on that World Star World, online, the grime, everybody from the street. That's where you made your name. So then when you get up into some press conference in the NFL and you start stuttering, looking stupid, that ain't an act, because now that we learn after Akademiks has exposed you that this is a prior partnership that y'all did with the both of y'all, is you're duping the public. That's the part in here. So you thought it was okay for Jay to say we're past kneeling and everything else. You sat there, you didn't say nothing. You could tell people behind the scenes what you said got edited out. We don't believe you. It's cool. And to be honest, his name's Charlemagne, I'm gonna tell you why you did that. And I'm gonna turn the music down. I'm gonna tell you why a lot of people don't understand why you did that. I'm gonna tell you why. You stood outside of New York, in North Carolina your whole life. I think you did a little time in Philly. And you look down at this city and you were amazed by it. And you wanted to skip the line. And you thought, let me get next to Jay-Z. You rode his corn knob every chance you got, bro. Every chance you got.
Was Charlamagne glazing Jay like that? Did he glaze Hov like that, where everybody is so mad that he's team Rock Nation? Because he always hated on Drake. I remember that. I just don't remember him being super Jay-Z Rock Nation.
You rode his pepper, and you got his mayonnaise all over your face. Every chance you got. You know why?
Rode his pepper is crazy.
Because you was looking for validation from a New York cat. And I know, Charlamagne, you was at your dinner table. Jay-Z really likes me. He likes my opinion. You was wearing that dirty Rock Nation hat, I don't know how many days in a row. I thought it was a uniform.
Oh, yeah, they kept talking about him wearing a Rock Nation hat, which I do remember Dame call it out.
I'm just keeping it a buck with you. I'm not taking away from your accomplishments and what you do for people.
He just said he rode his pepper and got whipped cream all over his face. And then he goes back to being respectful and saying, I'm not taking away your accomplishments. You already passed the disrespect line, buddy.
I'm just keeping it a buck with you. I'm not taking away from your accomplishments and what you do for people. But I'm saying you were a groupie with that Jay-Z. And you know something? We're going to keep it a buck today. You know, us from New York, see, you thought us falling back on Jay, you could just jump in and put his knob all over your nose, right? And put his eggnog all in your mouth.
Dog, he's used multiple terms now. Because now it's knob and eggnog, and before was he rode his pepper. Wayno, who worked with Rock Nation, he responded to all of this.
Funkmaster Flex, as he says all of this stuff about Charlemagne, and keep in mind they had problems. At one point in time, he sent people down to Power 105 to get the drop. They made it seem as if there was this beef between Hot 97 and Power 105, but Power 105 clearly eliminated them as a staff and a motherfucking crew. Now, when he starts going that deep, explain and express as a grown-ass man your real problems with the situation without trying to be, like, corny. Because all of that, you put his cucumber all on your mouth and let him do, hey, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yo. But that's beside.
Yeah, that's too far. He literally could have kept it about rap. Just address his points like he said without going that route.
Clearly, Funkmaster Flex has his issues with Charlemagne, and he's gonna always have issues with Charlemagne. But in terms of what Charlemagne has done with his opportunity, being in New York and not bullshitting with it and making it a big deal and helping other people, in comparison to what Funkmaster Flex has done, it's not even close about who's done a lot of heavy lifting over the past like 15, 16 years, because that's how long the Breakfast Club has been on.
But here's Akademiks actually addressing the beef, the situation, and then going on to say that they were going to have a conversation scheduled for today. So depending on when this video comes out, maybe the conversation already happened, maybe it hasn't happened yet, but I will update you on it. I'm still confused with what the issues are. Akademiks is mad that Charlamagne told him something and wouldn't tell him who. I guess I get that, right? Didn't Fabulous say one time, don't tell me what people say about me, tell me why they feel comfortable telling you. So I get why he would be mad at that, but this man started like a whole fake media war because Charlamagne told him something, wouldn't tell him where it came from, but it came from Rock Nation. Just a crazy situation.
You know, they say every billionaire needs a media arm. Elon owns Twitter, he owns the town square. Jeff Bezos owns, I believe, the Washington Post. You'll get every billionaire, they have some media outlet that they could kind of spread their, not, well, it is propaganda, but it's usually propaganda to show that they're a good person. Hey, I'm philanthropic, I'm whatever. The thing with Jay-Z, and I don't know why Jay-Z just doesn't buy a media outlet. Jay-Z has always been caught with his hand in a cookie jar trying to spread his propaganda via media personality.
But I guess if you're Jay-Z, right, if you're a company, isn't that what companies do? You're trying to big up your company, whatever achievements y'all have. You're going to reach out to all the sources that you have and try to promote or push something, whether that's an artist, accomplishment, Jay's 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt, making it seem like a big deal. I don't think that that's wrong, but when they're talking about if somebody is critical about Jay-Z and then they get a whole bunch of calls and fake threats, then that's a little different.
So instead of buying the platform, like, yo, Jay, you're rich, just buy the Breakfast Club. Don't try to infiltrate through Charlemagne or infiltrate through that guy or that guy. So that's kind of like this working theory, right? The working theory is, you know, whatever. Now, let me be fair. On the opposite side, they would say, well, the working theory is that Drake is trying to spread propaganda through you, right? Okay. Let's address both and let's kind of compare.
Act was definitely looking like a groupie. He got an OVO chain.
If you look at Charlamagne's history and my history, his with Jay-Z, mine with Drake. I've always been a Drake fan. At one point, it was seen that Charlamagne supposedly got fired by Jay-Z. They weren't that cool. It was also seen that Charlamagne was clowning other people for being mouthpieces of Jay-Z, namely Ruri. Remember when he said, Ruri, it's pathetic you have to ask another man, Jay-Z, that you could propose to your future wife at his brunch. That seemed like a very normal take, but it was a take that criticized the brunch and Ruri. Now, there is no more criticism.
So he's basically saying now that Charlamagne is Team Hove, he doesn't talk bad about Jay-Z or criticize Jay-Z or anybody having to do with him.
You could probably say, well, Act, all right, cool. Like, well, yeah, you criticize Drake sometime too, but like now you got to change. You haven't criticized. Hey, I'm only here to say, let's put it all on the table, right? I'm not here to say that people can't criticize me and be like, nah, Act, you know what? I feel like you've lacked some objectivity since the battle. I've told y'all that particularly. I've said, listen, Drake's my favorite artist. Anytime he gets in some type of squabble, his fans usually activate. I'm one of his fans, yes.
I feel like all of these rap people lost a little bit of esteem in my eyes between that Drake and Kendrick battle. Everybody was biased. Everybody was sticking to their corners. Nobody was looking at the songs unbiasedly. A lot of people actually grew their channels, grew their platforms off of that beef.
Pretty honest with it. I think the difference with me and Charlamagne is that Charlamagne has always act like he's detached from these people. Like, nah. I heard him recently. He said, nah, they could never pay for my opinion. And I think we all have. Like, no one wants to say someone could pay for your opinion. But whether it's they're paying for your opinion or you're aligned with them so your opinion happens to jive with what their program is very, it should be known. I think with any biases I might have, every media personality has bias. I think people know my biases. I don't think Charlamagne has denied that he had any type of...
So it seems like his whole beef is Charlamagne is biased to Rock Nation and nobody knew he was on Team Jay-Z or did the deal with Jay-Z. I guess that's the whole beef. I don't know. It just seems underwhelming. And then other people in the media like Rory and Morg spoke out on the situation too.
So I'm not here to say Charlamagne did anything illegal, but that has been pointed out, the way he positioned it as if he wasn't part of it, of like, oh, it'd be great for him. There may be some dicey things in there, but back to capitalism. If Charlamagne has the opportunity to have stake into a casino that may open in Times Square, he's supposed to say no? I'm just a little confused. Okay, is that going to sway his opinions on the radio? I don't know if that's really affected Charlamagne's opinion as a radio host the last 15 years, because Jay-Z does something once every 7 years. Mm-hmm. Has that really compromised Charlamagne? And you know I rarely defend Charlamagne. Mm-hmm. I just don't really see this whole gotcha moment.
They're the one who said, yeah, Charlamagne capping a bit. Desiree Perez is the one who got him his therapist. And I said, what? So I don't think this is like some proprietary information, but I was like, what? But I'm like, oh, so he does have some association with these people. But he kept saying no. Now, for the people who think this is jealousy or they keep using this one-liner, well, Act, he's doing the same thing you're doing with Drake. We don't have a problem with what Charlamagne is doing. It doesn't work. He's been defending Jay-Z, and we've been putting our foot on Jay-Z's neck even more. Charlotte can't stop nothing. So we don't have a problem with that. We just have a problem with the blatant lying. Hey, I have no association. Brother, just say that, yo, that's my man. If that was disclosed publicly, and don't tell me, oh, no, he did the filing. You guys have to go to the hidden website with the... You talk to me on the phone, you say you don't fuck with, like, well, you didn't say you didn't fuck with me. You just said you got no dealings. Everybody who's talked to you you told them you have no dealings. If he had said, that's my man's. It reminds me, I hate to evoke the Bible here. It reminds me of that Bible scripture when Jesus said,
this nigga Akademiks is quoting Bible scriptures. Let me not judge.
Be one fucking disciple they're gonna disown me in public. That's Charlamagne. Not calling Jay-Z God or nothing like that, or Jesus, or, that might be a little bit blasphemous, so I apologize if anyone's offended by it. But Charlamagne has denied that he has any association beyond the obvious. For the people who said Act may have, Act might be ducking smoke, or maybe Charlamagne ducking smoke. Neither of us ducking smoke. There's no really smoke there, I think, but we never know. We never know, okay? I've done some negotiations. I said, listen, I'm not doing Brilliant Idiots. But it seems to be something where it's going to be me and Charlamagne, not off the record, not Brilliant Idiots. We're going to figure out what it's going to be. Nevertheless, he says, hey, listen, Production-wise, I think we could do. I'm like, all right. I said, listen, I don't want no edits. I don't want Desiree Perez. I don't want Jay-Z. I don't want Blue Ivy. I don't want nobody editing nothing. We just gonna do it. The reason why I'm going in with maximum security, I might have to wear a bulletproof vest in that podcast room in Charlemagne. I'm gonna tell you why.
He said he's going into a conversation, a podcast from Charlemagne with maximum security. What is Charlemagne going to do?
I think Jay-Z and Desiree Perez are realizing that little boy Akademiks, man, we can't fuck with him. We sent the big dog out, and the narrative still ain't working.
I guess we'll see if all of this gets resolved with the conversation with Charlemagne and Akademiks, or if things just keep spiraling and people keep picking sides. Now, there's a whole other part of the Funkmaster Flex conversation where he directly called out Jay-Z. I put a little bit of that call out in this video, but there's a full video about it on the second channel. But shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting, and thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.